Welcome to the fish tank.
Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is Fishroom Vlog Part 6. It's hard to believe I've already done 5 of these. But anyway, there's not a lot to cover today, so let's get right to it. This is the new section for the recycled rack. And as you can see, I've leveled the tanks, and if you look at the top there, I've bolted them to their brackets. And as you can see by the back window, I have yet to pressure wash all that, but I did put braces on the bottom legs because there's 5 tanks that are bigger than these ones here, so I thought I'd just add a little extra safety. The other thing I did is I tied in the air pump from that side of the fish room to the air pump on this side of the fish room. This is a 90, and that one's a 60, so it evens out the pressure for everybody, and I'm getting a lot of extra nice flow. As you can see by the 3 hose nipples there, I'm still bleeding air out because, well, there's way more pressure that I need. As you can tell by the 5-stage airlift here, it is humming along really well. In a few seconds I'm going to switch over to a clip before I had hooked the 2 pumps together, and you can see how much has increased. This is good because I need the air for the 10 new tanks, because they're going to be air driven as well. That brings me up to the next thing I need to think about, and that is some of the projects I've been running for a little while, I need to start phasing out. One of them because I had a bit of trouble with it, so I think I'm just going to scrap that one. We'll get to that shortly. And the other is simply because I have a lot of new ideas. Some things have been going on, and some things I want to change, and I have a bunch of stuff I want to build, and I need the room. I mean, that tank there alone I have some interesting ideas for it. I need the space, even though it's 7 feet long. So this might be one of the ones that might be going. Give me your input on these things, by the way. Just let me know what you think. This is the hob I built, the air-driven hob, and this is also the one with the pressure caps on it. And this is just with one running. And you can see it's got a great deal of flow. There is literally nothing wrong with this filter. It works really, really well. But the thing is, I just need the room. There's stuff I need to do, and something has to give. And this might be one of them. I mean, you guys let me know, and we'll figure all that sort of stuff out. Like I said, this filter works really well, and there's nothing I can say against it. If I let it get too dirty, of course, as with all hobs, it has a small chance of overflowing. But in this particular case, it at most is just a drip. And now we're going to get to one of the projects that actually surprised me. I was expecting it to do really well, and it didn't, which, like I said, is just mind-boggling. The 7-foot tank up top, you know, I switched over to Africans because I needed to move the last rack. And I put half of the extra guppies in here, and as you can see, they're doing really well. This is run by that box filter you see there, and of course there's a lot of plants. This tank here, this tank also had a lot of plants in it, and it was cleaned by that Natten filter. And this is the tank I had issues with. This ended up with some form of bacterial infection on the fish, and I lost, I think, about half of them. The problem is when you get really busy, because I'm reopening again, and I had a lot of stuff I needed to do, it's missed, my attention didn't catch it in time, and so I ended up with issues in that tank. I had to pull all the plants out, as you can see, and, well, anyway, Natten filters are probably not going to make the grade. This filter here is absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, it is too amazing. It grows like a weed. I have to prune it constantly. And a lot of these decisions for me are going to be because of time management. I need to be able to fit all my work in, and then fish room work in, and of course, you know, work on new projects. And if there's a project that requires extra time put in, that kind of is something that you know, I have to keep in mind. Now this thing here requires absolutely no effort whatsoever, but it takes up an awful lot of space, so it may also not quite, you know, survive the chopping block. It is perfectly fine. Every now and then I have to adjust the rods because I haven't bothered anchoring them in place yet. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you think. Stuff starts things are going to have to go simply because I'll need space for other projects. Right now I'm going to have the 10 new tanks to fill up, but as those tanks fill up, I am again going to require certain space for certain things. Now, I didn't originally intend to focus on this guppy a whole lot, but I thought she was giving birth, but she just has a big poop to come out. But I wanted to show you this clip anyway because this is the plant I had laid sideways. And as you can see, it is starting to grow really well. One of the projects I want to work on is a version of this with soil as well and some other stuff, so things to do. That's the problem. And then if you remember this is my timeout box I had made for the male convict, but like I said, I'm having space issues right now, so she had to come in here because she had a mouthful. So this is turning out to be a fry hatchery as well, so she's going to stay in here until she spits out her fry. Just keeps her away from the other fish because, it's an African cichlid and those are rainbows. It's not a good combination when the rainbows are tasty. So she's going to stay in here so she has her babies, and then I will pop her back in her original tank. Speaking of babies, if you remember, I had 2 tanks side by side. This one was the clear one, and the other was full of algae. And these guys have had babies, and as you see, they're growing nicely and happy. And unfortunately, because of the algae one, I can't really find anything in there. So I think I might be switching over to a slightly different version. Because remember, I had, when I was taking the 7-foot tank apart, I had a few baby guppies, and I had nowhere to put them. So I put them in here. This is the shrimp and scuds only grow at tank, and I put a few baby guppies in here. They're growing really, really well. So I think I'm going to switch over to a variation on like the indoor pond concept with lots of algae and everything, because I am going to get some cyclopses and some daphne in. I've actually managed to collect some wild ones so far, and actually I'm going to probably do a mail order or whatever to get some daphne as well. And I'm going to start growing lots of aquatic live food. Now, another reason why I was thinking along those lines is due to this. This is the new version of the leak-proof canister filter. And as you can see, when I first hooked it up, a baby convict got up in here, and look at the size of his belly. So he had to come out, or she, and while I was doing that, I was thinking that, the only thing that goes in here is maybe a few tiny flakes of food, but the rest of it is they're eating all the baby shrimplets and baby scuds, and while you can see that he's doing really well. The next clip that's coming up, I'm going to put him in with his brothers and sisters, and you'll see a size comparison. It's not really anything conclusive because it's one fish, and it could just be one that's growing really well. So that general school of baby convicts you see there are the brothers and sisters. And in the corner, down in the lower right, you'll see this guy. And in a few seconds, he's going to turn, actually, a little more than a few seconds, he's going to turn and swim into the tank with everybody else. And just look at the size of his belly and the size of him compared to everybody else. And I'm thinking that this has interesting prospects for a way of feeding baby fish. So what I'm thinking of is I'm going to take the far side. There's a bench there, and up to this point I've had microworms, and I currently have vinegar eels there, and I'm thinking of setting up probably about 2 or 3 aquariums. I'm going to put some intense light over them, get some really good algae cultures going, and then have those auto drip into a couple of other aquariums, which I am going to be growing out, Daphnia and Cyclopses and that sort of thing as well, just so I can have a greater variety of food for fish and stuff. And this was kind of one of those happenstance things where I wasn't intended, but I didn't want the fish to die, and something interesting came out of it, which is very cool, and I definitely want to do something about it. Now, the hard part, I think, is going to make it so that I can use it for, you know, not just like one or two fish. Because so far, all it is it's been a couple of guppies, one convict baby, and the thing is to get it to be so that it is like a whole batch or batches. That is where the issue is going to be. So this is the tank that is run by that filter. It is actually starting to look a lot better now that it's not getting 24 hours of light, but it does have a ways to go yet. It takes time for those filters to hook up. So this is what my micro worms used to be stored in. I've shut all this down. I threw all these out, and I am subculturing them currently into smaller containers, and it's actually much better now. There's no odor, so that's much better. I mean, they're fine, but again, like I said, I want to these are the new ones here, and I keep them smaller, and I cycle them lots, just to get rid of whatever that is. So last couple clips are just going to be the area where I'm going to build the new stuff for the new live food section, and that's pretty much it for this video. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this style of video, please like and or subscribe, and definitely leave me lots of comments on what you think of what's going to happen here especially, and also for what filters you think I should hang on to, keep going for a while longer, and which ones are less interesting to you. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.